In one IG live or something, she said she was walking away from the car.
Like, everybody in the car, it's only 4 muggers in the car. Me, you, my homegirl, and your security. Everybody in the car arguing. I'm in the front seat. This nigga in the back seat. I get out the car. I'm done arguing. I don't want to argue no more. I get out. I'm walking away.
Her back was turned. But then all of a sudden, she said that she saw him
from out the back seat of the car start shooting me. You shot me.
There was a police detective that took the stand at the preliminary trial by the name of Detective Ryan Stogner. The detective testified, based on Megan's account, that she saw Tory holding a firearm and observed him shooting at her. But in Meg's own words, she was walking away from the vehicle. Her back was turned.
I get out the car. I'm done arguing. I don't want to argue no more. I get out. I'm walking away. I'm walking away.
I'm walking away.
So if your back was turned, did she really see him aiming the gat and pulling the trigger?
Who knows?
I pray whoever knows the truth that they tell it. Because if not, it's going to eat you alive.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So I hope they tell it.
For real. If the truth ain't already out there, then I hope somebody comes forward with the truth.
No DNA, no fingerprints, missing bullet fragments. Despite those concerns, rapper Tory Lanez, whose legal name is Daystar Peterson, was convicted in connection to the 2020 shooting of fellow artist Megan Thee Stallion in the Hollywood Hills, which left her with injuries to her feet. Tory Lanez was sentenced to 10 years, a full decade behind bars. To this day, Mr. Peterson, Tory Lanez, maintains his innocence, insisting he never fired the gun. Now, new evidence and claims are surfacing, including from a witness whose account contradicts key parts of Megan Thee Stallion's version of events that night and appears to support Tory Lanez's defense.
Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was a witness to the conversation Miss Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody.
I'm not going to lie. I really thought this entire thing was over. What's going on, everyone? This is your man, Brandon Gio, one half of Residual Impact. Hey, yo, check it. This is something that caught everybody by surprise, I'm sure of it. But, you know, this was one of the last things that I expected to see pop up on my timeline, especially with everything going on with the Diddy trial and Halle Bailey and DDG. And the last thing I expected was to see anything regarding the Tory Lanez versus the state of California case. Now, I know just a few days ago, there was a story that broke where Tory Lanez was actually hit up behind bars. And I first heard this story from 1090 Jake on YouTube.
In breaking news, Tory Lanez apparently just got hit up in the California state prison he's in. According to multiple sources, including a corrections officer, Tory was walking the yard at the California Correctional Institution in Tehachapi when he was attacked by another inmate, and it was so severe, he had to be rushed to a nearby hospital that wasn't really nearby. It was in Bakersfield, an hour away. Because of the distance, it's likely that he was life-flighted, and if you've ever been to prison, you know how serious it is when the helicopter touches down. There's a risk that the person even makes it. Now, pretty much no details have been released, but that also means something in itself. This is California. If another race did it, there would have been a race riot, so it's likely that whoever did this was inside Tory's inner circle and will most likely face attempted murder charges.
When I initially heard this story, I'm thinking to myself like, yo, maybe this is just something that happens behind bars. Maybe this is something that just happens when you're locked up. You make some associates or some friends maybe, and you also make some enemies. I don't know. I didn't really think too much of it because you see stuff like this on prison documentaries if you watch those, or you see stuff like this on prison TV shows if you watch those. But I'm just thinking, okay, it's just another day in prison. You know, I hope that the brother is all right. And then news came out later who hit him up and how many times. Then this comes out of nowhere.
Good morning. We are here today to bring to your attention some information Unite the People believes is exculpatory in Mr. Daystar Peterson's case, professionally known as Tory Lanez. Recently, we've been made aware that a member of the media, Mr. Gianno Caldwell, was working on an op-ed for the New York Post regarding Mr. Peterson's innocence. During his work on that op-ed, he became aware of some information in Unite the People's possession regarding a statement that was given to Unite the People by someone with information relevant to that case. The New York Post recently reached out to the prior district attorney, George Gaston, Megan Pete and her representatives, and Kelsey Harris and her representatives. The only party that responded last week was Megan Pete's representatives with a request for more information. A few days later, Mr. Peterson's brutally attacked in his jail cell. Unite the People represents Daystar Peterson in his appellate process. We filed an appellate brief and a writ of habeas corpus on his behalf. The district attorney's office has already responded. The case is fully briefed. We're just waiting for the appellate court's decision. We were willing to wait for the appellate process to play out, but given that brutal, unprovoked attack, we felt it necessary to come here today to provide you with this information. It is our intention to make a request to the governor to either pardon or commute the sentence of Mr. Peterson, so that when he recovers from this attack, he's not returned to a jail cell, but that he's allowed to go home and recover. Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Miss Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Miss Harris had where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. The passenger side is where Miss Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Miss Pete, did not shoot at Miss Pete, or did not assault Miss Pete. It's just another irregularity in a list of irregularities in this case. For example, there were 3 potential suspects in the car that night, and yet the only DNA sample was taken of Mr. Peterson, even though unknown DNA was found on the gun. Why wasn't Miss Harris's DNA taken? Or was it taken and the information simply never given to the defense? Why wasn't the driver of the car, Mr. Jaquan Smith's DNA taken? Or was it taken and again, simply not given to the defense? We don't know. It should have been taken. It is Unite the People's understanding, regular LAPD practice at a crime scene like that, anybody who's there, the DNA is taken. Another irregularity. why at Ms. Harris's police interview was a non-lawyer, non-family member record company executive allowed to participate. Highly irregular situation. Normally we see cases, strangers are not allowed in these things, but it was in this case. All of these things point to the highly irregular nature of his trial and his conviction. It is our contention that he was wrongly convicted. And while we at first were willing to let the process play out, it is our contention now that if he is not pardoned or released promptly, he may never come out. And that would be the ultimate injustice, is that he gets killed in prison for something he did not do.
This whole thing out of nowhere, this press conference out of nowhere, just kind of like very random, because to have an entire press conference based on hearsay is actually kind of crazy to me. And I've said this before in a previous episode, how neither of us were there. I wasn't there. My co-host Mike wasn't there. None of y'all who are watching this video were there when this incident happened. Unless you were one of the 4 people that were in that vehicle that night, or any of the neighbors who were standing by, none of us were there. So we don't know exactly what happened. However, the main thing that bothered me during the entire trial was the simple fact that Kelsey was granted immunity. Usually nobody asks for immunity unless they're the ones who did something wrong. Why would you ask for immunity if you did nothing wrong? Again, I thought this situation was over. Clearly it isn't, and only time will tell what's next to come. If this is another case of women lying on a man to set him up to take the fall for whatever reason, you're going to hear a lot of different things from me. That's all I got to say with that. Like, I'm definitely going to speak more about that at a later date if that's the case, but I don't even know if that is the case because, again, I wasn't there. So I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear from each and every single one of you guys who are tapped in and watching. What's going on in your minds right now? What are you thinking about? What is it that you want to see from this? What type of outcome are you looking for from this situation? Because Tory's already been sentenced. He's already been serving time. But if this new evidence is in fact real, what do you guys expect to happen? Again, this is not our last video on this topic. We'll discuss it more at a later date. So please, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. And don't forget to click that notification bell so you never miss when we upload a new video for you. All right? Gentlemen, any ladies that are watching, thank each and every single one of you guys for tapping into this video today. We greatly appreciate it here at Residual Impact. Be sure to stick around for the next videos that are about to pop up on the screen. Go ahead and check those out too, especially if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen any of our content before. Thank you for tuning in. And you know I can't leave without saying, where you are today is a residual outcome of the thoughts you had in the past. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace.